Monkeans! Emonk here! Today we are going to learn how to make the Harley Quinn Santa Jester hat. I hope y'all enjoy! Alright, grab one of your Santa hats and follow the directions for the dye poly. And this is the exact type that I got, the same one for the leggings. I would suggest combining them both in the pot. And just follow the directions on the back. Now grab your other Santa hat that is just the same and rub and paint the fabric paint on your. First you're going to get your red fabric paint and then just go ahead, pre-paint it on there basically, and then what you're going to end up doing once you get this side fully saturated, one way that I found to where I save paint, but also because fur is really hard to paint, you could sit there and rub it together, press it down, and just keep rubbing and rubbing until it goes onto the other side. And just keep saturating it till it's the color that you want on that one side, and just keep rubbing. That is literally how I did that. Then I just touched up the rim on the Santa hat. That way it's hidden, and it also saved me time and paint on top of it also. There's a little money saver tip for you. Now this next part, pour some paint into your container and just rub it all over the ball. Just literally stick it in there and rub it. Then after it has dried for 24 hours, throw into the dryer for an hour and set out. Now while we got the other Santa hat worked on, now what I ended up doing is the dye poly didn't put it all the way through just like it did with the leggings, so I wanted it a darker black, so I went back with black fabric paint. You might not have to do this option. It just depends on you, totally on how you did it. So, since it wasn't dark enough for me, I just went over it with fabric paint. And just touch it all the way up, and any spots that you see that you need fit. And then do the same thing, let it dry for 24 hours, throw it in the dryer and set out for an hour. And that's how you do it. Now anywhere that you painted after it has sit for 24 hours after the dryer treatment, go through with our lucky little fabric softener and just rub it on there. Make sure it's clear and fragrance free softener, and just rub it until it's fully saturated. Do this to anything that you painted as far as the hats go. Alright, this part I slowed down for you because this is where it can get tricky. Now you're going to trim off the ball and the fur, but you want to get as close to the seam line as possible. That way it's a clean cut. Do this for the ball and for the fur on both hats. Now, here's where this can actually start getting a little tough. This is how you're going to create your template for the sewing. Get some bobby pins, and what you're going to do is pinch the two fabrics together. Make sure this is inside out when you do this. Pinch the fabrics together inside out and just stick a bobby pin through them. This is going to be your template if you put it through a sewing machine or hand sewed. I hand sewed this because currently my sewing machine decided to not work. Now it's time to cut out a moon shape. I would suggest trying this hat on first before you do this. You're going to be trying this hat on several times, trust me. That way you can make sure it's to your cut and that it's cut correctly. Now, do, like I said, like a half moon shape. You want to stay close to the seam line. So don't go too far, you just want to make it to where it sits perfectly on your head. Do this to the red side and the black side. This is what it should currently look like with bobby pins in. Now that we got that fitted to our head, what I did is that since I cut off the fur, I did opposite colors on each end to add a more Harley Quinn flair. Now, once you flip over the fur, it's okay if it hangs over. You're going to need that extra piece. Trust me. You can always cut it later, but for now, we're going to use it to our advantage. And do the same thing that you did for the middle seam. You're going to stick the bobby pins through the fur, like I'm showing right here, and just pinch it together. And this part you don't have to turn inside out, but make sure that the hat is the right side out when you go to do this. Can be a little confusing, but it's not that hard. And just squish it to a triangular shape, like shown right here. When you go to do it that way, it lays nicely on your head. Be sure to try this on several times and trim any unnecessary edges. Now, after you've completely sewn it, grab your ribbon and your ball. I took this off of another Christmas decoration, so it was literally hanging on my door, and I'm like, hey, I could use that. So just wrap it around, tie it on there, and it'll stay. And just do it to both sides and squish it as you're tying it on there. That way it solely depends on the pom-poms. You want that way it naturally holds down the hat for you, so you don't have to sit there and stuff cotton in several different directions. Trust me, that's a good little tip. And here in a short few seconds, I should be showing you exactly where I sewn it in. Alright, right here. On the inside, you can see where I sewn it in right in the middle. Again, this is hand sewn. And then I did it on the sides, on the inside, that way it won't be shown on the outside. And just literally, whenever you go to sew this, just stuff it inside the pom-pom as much as possible, and it will not go anywhere. And that's it. That is how you create this awesome winter Jester hat. Yes, it takes some sewing, but it's pretty fun. And what I filled it up inside with is cotton. It's actually not sewn in or anything because the way it sits on my head is perfect. Now, one way that I would suggest to keep this hat on your head, put 3 bobby pins in the front and 3 in the back whenever you wear pigtails. That way it actually stays on your head the whole day. It didn't fall off at all. And it's very soft and washable. As far as care for this, take out the cotton. That's why I suggest you don't sew it in there. Take out the cotton completely and just put it in a bag, set it to the side, and then throw this in the wash machine, cold cycle, delicate, with our normal free detergent like baby soap or something of that nature, and put it in there. And then you can actually throw this into the dryer. Although you can wash these bells, but I would suggest you untie them because it's just tied on there. Just untie it when you go to put it in the dryer, because this material right here will crinkle up if you don't. That is my suggestion. And then just tie it back on after it's dry and throw the cotton back in and you're good to go. I would suggest turning this inside out as well. So that is my suggestion when washing and drying it. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, and again, I hope to see y'all next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we are going to go over the shoes, the famous shoes. They are so much fun to make, and they are waterproof, so the paint will not run away. Yes, I use paint for the shoes. Hope y'all enjoy. I'll see you next Tuesday. Happy cosplaying!